164 has been etched in pink in the first half of this encounter between Hyderabad and Rajasthan. It's that kind of total that you can't really assess if it's going to be enough until the second team bats on it. But it's runs on the board, and it's come largely responsible through their skipper, Sanju Samson. Wonderful innings of 82 of just 57 deliveries, making it a season to remember. Leadership is obviously something he's enjoying. Yashasvi Jaiswal started off things with 36 of 23, and that's what gave the innings the early impetus. Joined on Cricbuzz Live in association with our fantasy partner, My 11 Circle, by Lisa Sthalekar and Joy Bhattacharjya. First of all, Lisa, 165, the prediction, spot on there. So since you had the prediction spot on, give us an assessment of whether you feel, other than being your total, is it a good enough total?
Yeah, I certainly think it is. We've seen the fact that teams batting first have predominantly been able to defend the total in this second part. And I think for Rajasthan, they've got to take some confidence. Their captain is playing well. He's leading from the front from a batting perspective. That will actually give him confidence in going out there and making the right decisions as well. So things are going well for Rajasthan at the moment. So I think they can defend it.
Before we talk about Samson, just a quick comment on whether we feel this total is enough. Yashasvi Jaiswal, I know it's the right thing to say when you go for a post-innings interview, but he did say slightly sticky, confident that they feel there's enough on the board.
I think this is a decent total, but I think this is what I call the ideal tournament total. It's a kind of total where the match is completely open, and the problem with totals like this is batsmen really don't know how to play. Do you go hard up front and do you see what's going on, or do you play and, say that let the run rate climb to 9, 10? So what happens is that totals like this become a mind game more than just about it. Because, once you reach 200, you just say slog. Every batsman has to slog, get a few balls, get in and slog. These totals are what brings out the tactics. And it'll be really interesting to see how this throws out. I don't know whether it's enough, but, a lot of them were talking about it. And I think, for a long time, at least towards the end, Hyderabad did an excellent job of playing that, when they're bowling on the right, bowling on the left. I mean, it was just that Sanju Samson was in such sublime form towards the end that he took them that close. And then, of course, Hyderabad closed him in the last couple of overs.
Yeah, we always put so much pressure. I mean, I'm glad Sanju Samson doesn't listen to conversations of other people while he's batting. Otherwise, he'd get out all the time. He'd be like, stop talking about me. But really, we keep mentioning the same thing, Lisa. He's looking good, but will he carry on? Well, today he looked good and he carried on. Obviously he got to that stage in the innings. He could have made it 3 figures.
Yeah, there was a poll, wasn't there, about who's the more stylish batter. Is it Kane Williamson or Sanju Samson? He is so stylish and he's got an ability to play all around the ground. He showed us that ability. But really, what I've liked of him this year is that he's stuck to his strengths really well. He's not gone searching for other things too quickly. Sometimes we see in the shortened format players trying to reinvent or try to take the extra risk, but he's playing risk-free to start with, and then right at the end he's capitalising.
I just have to add to that and say that if there's one thing that I did while working with the IPL tournament, it's that I'm probably the first person from the IPL ever to speak to Sanju Samson. We used to have this talent scout and coach called Biju George, who's also been with the Indian women's team for a long time. And Biju told me that I have this 15-year-old kid that you've just got to see. And look, everyone talks, when the IPL starts about 15-year-old kids who are wonders and all. And we called him to a camp, and at the age, he's not yet 16. And it's not that he hammered every bowler, but a 16-year-old bowler standing up to guys who bowl regularly in the IPL was something you didn't see normally. I mean, the last person who had that kind of record and looking comfortable doing it. And that was his. So since then, for somebody who's seen him then and then see playing India under-19 or, you always look at his career and say, why hasn't he got 3,000 more runs than he has? Because he looks so good and so capable. And I'm just delighted that he's got the orange cap. He's finally on top of the table and he's finally justifying that reputation he has as a batsman. It's been a long journey, but it's been worth it.
This is the season for him. 433 runs as captain. That's the big difference for him this season. He's had the added responsibility with the likes of Virat Kohli. We've had so much talk about whether captaincy gives you a burden. Do you want to be freed of that burden? He obviously likes it. But Joy, just to follow up that very quickly, 2 quick questions. Is he from the Jacques Kallis school of conversation? And B, at the age of 15... At the age of 15, would every one of his strokes enter a beauty pageant? And you're trying to see which is the prettiest.
Oh, look, I'll tell you one thing. At 15, he was actually quite ready for the Jacques Kallis school. He was a very quiet, tongue-tied, shy young man. And then in 2012, he was part of that winning KKR team. Just was on the bench. But he was there in 2012 when Kolkata won the title. But from that kid, he's matured, and you should see the cars he drives nowadays. So he's a man with a bit of style and a bit of swagger, and he's got it. He deserves it. And remember, in the place that he is, Kerala, there aren't too many, top international cricketers. I mean, there was Sreesanth and there was Tinu Johanan. So he's like a rock star in that part of the world, and he plays that part well. He's a confident young man now. So he's stylish now, but he was Jacques Kallis.
Well, and I can tell you, Lisa. Since Joy mentioned Kerala, I mean, that part of the world, be it Coimbatore or even other parts of the state, they love their cars. If there's one state in the entire country who love their cars, even if it's not a racing car, they have a normal, ordinary car, they'll soup it up, they'll do things with it. And it's not a coincidence that a couple of our racing drivers, our Formula One drivers, actually come from that state, Lisa.
But isn't all the cricketers? It's all about the flashy cars. It's like the West Indian players. Who's got the heaviest and the thickest necklace? Like there seems to be a little competition going on. No, Gautam, you are not part of the West Indian clan. Good try.
I spend a lot of time there, so I sort of let some of it rub off on me.
Just Gautam, just to add, Coimbatore is not technically Kerala, it's Tamil Nadu, but it's right next to Kerala. So exactly.
Which is why I sort of put it in there. It's pretty much on the border.
It's exactly on the border, and it's Tamil. In case somebody pedantic tries to point it out, but it's very much the culture of that area, which a lot of it is Tamil Nadu and a lot of it is Kerala. But I mean, he was as a batsman, he would still hit it. He could whack it. That's what everyone talks about. When you're younger, it's not about how well you hit your strokes or how often you hit your strokes. It's about saying that guy has enough time to hit a bowler of that pace, which you do not expect of a 16-year-old. You can expect a 16-year-old maybe to defend it or, to stop a ball. But to be able to have the bat speed and the eye, hand-eye coordination to be able to hit a bowler who's bowling at 130 at 16, that is what, set him apart. He could hit them at that age. He wouldn't hit them that accurately as he hits them now, but he could hit them.
At the other end, though, Lisa, do you think someone like a Mahipal Lomro showed what he could do in the previous game? He's a 6-hitter. And they had the likes of Morris and Tewatia and Parag still to come. Did they miss a bit of a trick there with him scoring 29 of 28? Could they have got to 180 and denied you the prediction?
They could have given it to Joy, absolutely. But for some reason, I got a call in and I said, no, Lomro in and let's show them how good your singles are. We've seen your sixes. I just want singles from you. And he played that role well. It's a hard thing, isn't it? Whilst in the IPL, you're used to seeing two batters go hard. But normally, one goes hard and one just feeds the strike. I think he was still trying, but they seemed to get their plans better to him than they did to Sanju Samson. So maybe that right-left combination worked and Sanju Samson actually cashed in.
Yeah, he had obviously had the captain at the other end, so there's no question of not following the instructions. Before we finish up, quick word on the bowling. Let's have a look at the bowling effort. Not quite the Rashid Khan day you'd expect for the talisman. Jason Holder also going wicketless. So it was a great start from Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, great finish from Sid Kaul. I think that's the bit they look at as a positive, Joy.
Yeah, I think both, if you see the last 2 overs, I think one over went for 7, the other went for 4. They got 3 wickets out there in that period. I think they bowled really well in the last couple of overs. I think what Rajasthan did a magnificent job of, and they're doing this as a team very consistently, is getting runs between overs 7 and 16. And most teams get bogged down out there. They start very fast, they end very fast. And I think one of the reasons they can do that is Sanju is such a fine timer of the ball that once he's in, he can take advantage even in that period without taking significant risks. And I think he is a large reason why that run rate is pretty decent out there as well. But it's not as if I believe the Hyderabad bowlers did a very as decent a job as they could. They tried to execute their plans. They just hit somebody on the top of their form. And I would say that the 164, they've come out pretty decently. They've given their batters a chance to win this match.
In fact, Lisa, we've got the numbers for that. 8.97 is their scoring rate in that middle phase, which is the best of all teams. So it just shows that each team can have a different approach, but it also shows if that's the marker you've set, you need to sort of keep up with it. And they did 84 in that section.
Yeah, and I think you're right. The great thing about cricket is there's so many different ways you can skin a cat, isn't it? You can score the runs up the front, and you can go, conservatively in the middle and then blast it at the end. Other teams are finding, based on their strengths and who's in, where they can really extend themselves. No doubts, Kumar Sangakkara will be looking at that and going, okay, if we can get 5 to 10 more runs in this phase, 5 to 10 more runs that phase, we're getting that 180 regularly. So they're not far off it. They're going in the right direction. They're trending in the right direction.
That's what you want at this stage of the tournament. You're still in the mix, 8 points, wanting to push your way up there. And if you can peak at the right time of the tournament, they could not ask for more, the men in pink. Just a final question to finish. As Ridhiman Saha and Jason Roy are out there. New look side, no David Warner. Put you on the spot, Joy. Yes or no? Which camp are you on, orange or pink?
I'm right now in the pink camp. I think they have far more to lose. They have far more skin in the game at this point.
Lisa?
Pinks always look good on me.
Well, I wish I could defer. Unfortunately I'm wearing pink, so
you are.
But I'm just going to say that's my attire, but my head still says that.
Really?
I still fancy them to chase this down. It's one of those things. They've been told by Trevor Bayliss, look, guys, never mind what the mathematics are telling us. Some people feel we're out. Some people feel we can still do it. I think they're on course to still be alive for the 12 points, no matter where that takes them. So 2 pinks, 1 orange. We'll have a very good idea of where they are in the 10 over marks. We'll bring you all that on Cricbuzz Combox. For now, that's all we have on this mid-innings show on Cricbuzz Live, brought to you in association with our fantasy partner, My 11 Circle.